What's up, everybody? StemMac35 here, RantMac35 here, because now I gotta come back and get on and go on another rant. Well, apparently Unity has gone full brain dead at this point, I'm afraid. So according to reports, Unity now wants to charge developers, the people that use the engine to make the games, wanting to charge them money when their game is installed on a new device. They call this a runtime fee, and it's supposed to charge the developers money for the first time their game is downloaded on a new device. So if you downloaded their game either on like the PS5 and then like download on the PS4 and download it on something else, that all those would count as like 3 different installs, and the developer gets charged money for those installs. And that means the developer has to pay Unity money whenever somebody installs their game. And I'm just like, huh? Like, whose brain dead retarded idea is this? Oh, and don't worry, it was even more stupid when they first announced it, as initially they wanted to charge the developers after each, like, install and reinstall, every time the game gets installed, and then somebody uninstalls and then reinstalls it again, then uninstalls and reinstalls. Yeah, you were supposed to get charged for that initially, I think, every time that happened. Good thing they decided to go back on that one, right? That would have been real terrible. See, this pisses me off because I don't know if you guys know, though, although, and I've said it a few times here on the channel, I'm a game developer myself. I went to school for game design, and I've been working on game development stuff for a few years at this point. I've released one commercial game, and I have another in active development currently. Hell, the game I just uploaded a video of, if you guys have seen it, the shmup that I made, that was made in Unity as well. And so the main engine I use for my games is Unity. It's the engine I learned on, and it's the one I have the most experience with currently. Although I have dabbled in Unreal Engine a bit, but I'm not hugely familiar with that engine yet, and I haven't released anything in it yet. So I'm still, pretty new to Unreal Engine, but I've played around with it a little bit. But anyway, Unity is the main engine I am currently using, and is the engine I'm using to build my current game that I've been working on. I've said vague hints of what the game is on my channel. I've shown a little bit of like a trailer or something, a sneak peek trailer of of the game I was currently working on. But I was waiting until I was done with it before I started saying anything more about it. And this really pisses me off and worries me because I don't know how to move forward with this. I've been working on my current major project I've been working on right now for about 3 years at this point. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys this right now. The game is about 90% complete. I just wanted to take a bit of a break from it, hence, the FMV shooter that I made. And then after that, I was gonna jump straight back in and, hopefully finish the game up this year, and get it out next year. And not only that, but I already have the next big game that I want to work on in mind after I finish my current project. Now, I haven't actually started developing it yet, but I do have things planned out for it already, and I even bought something off the asset store that was supposed to help me on developing it. And for this, I was planning on, using Unity again as well. Man, this shit done fucked up my whole plan. Jesus. Because I don't want to have to deal with this, having to be charged whenever my game gets a new download is dumb as hell. I mean, the initial thing is that you have to hit a threshold first. It's not just gonna do it every time your game gets installed or whatever. First, you have to hit like a $200,000 threshold, and have 200,000 active players within a certain period of time or something like that. So, it's not just the moment you release something that's going to happen, but just the fact that that's a thing in general, that exists, is just so stupid. I just don't like that idea, that business model, and the vast majority of the people that use Unity don't like the idea that business model either. It's terrible. Because you release a game, and then, what if the game becomes a hit? What if the game becomes semi decent? And you had to pay the money on that whenever you hit that threshold and stuff. It's like it's almost as if like the thing punishes you for having a decent game that winds up being a hit or something like that. It's like it punishes you for being successful with something. If you release the game and it takes off, it's just stupid. And I just personally, I just don't want to have to sit here and deal with all that. And to avoid it, if they don't discard this terrible ass idea, I'm gonna have to switch over to another game engine. And I really do not want to have to do that. Like I said, I'm mainly familiar with Unity, so I'd have to go and learn a whole new engine. And not only that, but the main reason why I don't want to switch engines is because essentially I'd have to start my game all over again. Like I can't just take my project and files and just copy and paste them over into another engine and have it just work. There's certain aspects of the game that I'm gonna have to reconstruct using the systems and quirks of like whatever another engine I would pick in order to have to rebuild the game up again. Like I'd have to use and learn a different animation system and rewrite whole coding scripts that I've done to fit with whatever that engine's working environment and rules are. And also there were certain assets that I have in my game that I got through the Unity asset store. And as far as I'm aware, you can only use Unity assets in a Unity engine game. Like, I don't think you can or you're able to just drag and drop Unity assets into other game engines. So what am I supposed to do about that? I bought that, I said, to save me time and effort on having to do certain parts of it myself. The whole like work smart or hard and all that stuff. Not only that, but to have to move my game over to another engine and essentially have to start over somewhere else, that's going to take at least another year or two of work to do that. I was almost done, bro. like I was right there at the finish line. Like I said, the game is like 90% complete, and I just wanted to get this game finished and shipped out the door. I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoy working on it for the most part. Game development is fun, but it can be frustrating as all hell at times too. But I'm starting to get a little burnt out on working on this for the 3 years, and for the 3 years I've been working on it, and I want to just get it finished so I could get it out there and eventually move on to other products that I have in mind that I've been gearing up to work on. Like I said earlier, I don't want to work on the same. I enjoy doing it. I want to put in time, effort required to put out a good product, but I don't want to work on the same one thing forever. I would get tired of it at that point. Like, this is why I always say, mini tangent incoming, but this is why I always say to try and avoid engine switches mid-development. Like, you pick a game engine to create your game in, and then you just stick with it until you finish it. Try to avoid switching engines in the middle of development, because that just sets the game and the people working on it back, and that's X amount of time wasted, of time and money and effort wasted on one version, and you pretty much have to start over. And depending on the engine you're going to, you might have to scrap some or most of your work and start all over again, and it's just a mess and a huge detriment to the overall game. So I always got a little weary whenever I hear a development studio decides to switch game engines in the middle of a project. But you don't expect stupid stuff like this to happen, though. That makes you have to contemplate that. Anyway, mini tangent over, and back to the main tangent. Now, the gremlin we have to thank for this 600 IQ big brain decision is John Riccitiello. And oh, look at that, he used to be the head of EA before he became the head of Unity. I'm telling you, man, if you've ever worked at any high level position at EA, you need to be retroactively blacklisted from working in any other game development or game development related company ever again. I'm talking like you can't even work as a janitor cleaning out the trash cans at an office somewhere. I'm talking like you can't have even been seen walking past the damn game studio. Gone. when I was reading people's comments and thoughts about this whole thing, I came across one comment that says something along the lines of these companies, stuff like this is like they just focus on short-term profits over long-term stability or something like that. And you know, that person was right. It's like these days, that's exactly what it feels like. Not just for this Unity thing, but for a lot of entertainment companies in general these days. Like these businesses just try to squeeze the very last bit of blood from the stone and just milk every last penny out of people as much as they possibly can. Like completely foregoing the overall long-term image and stability of the company for short-sighted, quick profits, like some sort of monetary dopamine hit or something like that for these companies. And the higher ups, like the CEOs and the executives and the higher ups and stuff, they don't care about any of this. As long as they can get enough money to purchase yet another yacht to add to their collection, they'll tank an entire company in the ground in the process, as long as their wallets become as big as humanly possible and nothing else matters to them. I'm telling you, man, between stuff like this and just the various other, you know, things that have been going on in the gaming industry lately with all like the different price increases for things and stuff like that, I feel like I feel like we are living in the middle of the peak corporate greed arc. Just disgusting, unadulterated corporate greed. And I'm sick of it. But I don't know, man. I really hope Unity reverses this, or you know, it goes a different direction for this. Like, look at Unreal Engine's revenue sharing process thing. You have to make Unreal Engine won't take any of your money you made until you make $1 million off of the project. So if you make a game and it exceeds making $1 million, then Unreal will take like 5% of that, but they won't take anything before that. And I think it's per project too. So even if you only have one game that exceeds $1 million, they'll only take 5% off that one game. They won't touch any of the other games until if they hit that $1 million threshold too. Unity should have just copied that, to be honest with you. That would have been significantly better. Because I really do not want to start over and lose all this work and money I put into this. I don't even know what I'm going to do, to be honest with you. I still got to like figure out what the freak is even going on. But anyway, I'm StatMac, RantMac35, and I'm out. Actually, I'm going to put a video down in the description for you guys so that you can watch that guy that kind of talks about and summarizes this stuff a little better, so you know you guys can get a better idea of what's going on. If you don't know, you know, what's going on, or you don't really understand all of what's happening, you guys can watch that video in the description. You know, to get a better understanding of all this stuff. So you can watch that. But yeah, I'm out. Peace.